and we are wrestling with WWE Money in the Bank 2023 review. Took place last week in London, England, at the Water Arena. Um, um, yeah, it was just what you expected it to be. WWE in the UK, it was loud, it was rowdy. Um, but be honest, the last like 3, 4 PLEs have been the most loud and ruckus and excited crowds in all of pro wrestling at this point. Kaliko, the show as a whole, what was your thoughts?
Well, they say crowd makes shows, and London showed this. Honestly, can we just like put this to bed? America is spoiled as shit because they get
Oh
a
yeah,
couple pay-per-views that we think are throwaways, and they are like fucking grateful. They are showing their ass off, and it to me it kind of puts us to shame. We got to step our game up for damn show. Because Jesus, those crowds are just bananas. And whatever you can say about the show, the crowd is like what makes it, and they have been making it ever since fucking. I think maybe other than the Saudi Arabia, because it's kind of the whole thing over there. But even then, they were kind of in it. But
oh they
everywhere
were
else, it's
really
just
big
been
in it.
Because of Sammy.
oh yeah, when Sammy popped, it was nuts. So you know what I'm saying. So to me, them I could see them doing these pay-per-views overseas except for the big four because they know people are willing to travel for it. But as far as the show is concerned, that show they they don't miss. They haven't been missing. They have yet to miss.
You might not. They don't miss, but there's usually one result I would have changed. That's usually always the case with these now.
Well, your thoughts on the show as a whole, Scooter?
What type of poll is it? I thought it was great. I'm glad I'm glad the the men's Monkey the Bang match lasted the perfect amount of time for me to close my eyes, and the next time I open them, oh, set, here comes the next match. I took a nap for that entire match, bell to bell. Or maybe I just didn't wake up until then either.
Alright, well,
It was
oh, continue.
it was a it was a it was a it was a good show that became great because of the crowd. My I never thought I would get to hear the crowd sing for Bailey ever again. And they still did it, even though she was a heel.
They left out Bailey.
And there were a number of other new ones that they broke out. And of course, with all the botches that went viral.
Well, let's get into it. We got the first match out, the Money in the Bank ladder match, the men's edition. Damian Priest defeated Butch, La Knight, Logan Paul, Rick Lachey, Santos Escobar, and Shinsuke Nakamura in 25 minutes and 25 seconds.
Rick Rochet.
You should have been here for the past couple of weeks.
Rick Rochet.
Would you stop?
Let's say.
Jeez.
Rick, yeah. He's not even making him Irish. He's making him like 98 degrees.
I mean,
Oh,
of
God.
course he was 98 degrees.
Oh, it's me, Ricochet.
I mean, to be agree that Ricochet is pretty cold. He needs to get up to 98 degrees.
But then he's got a fever.
So, Kaliko, your thoughts on the match?
Oh, Damien won. It kind of took the air out of it because that was literally LA Knight's not to lose. But what LA Knight said after the match was telling that he don't need the briefcase to be over. He is over, and he's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just a fact of life. Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I kept saying that on the God on when the Ron Drew Gulak does the Twitch sidecast, and I kept saying, oh, you know, it's not a spoiler. It's just a fact of life.
Yeah, it is. But
Yeah.
usually when somebody is as over as LA Knight, they don't win. And I mean, if you're gonna go with anybody in this match, I think if they would have got Logan Paul to win, the place would have rioted at that point. So I mean, at least Damian Priest, he's what's the word? Credited. He's been in there for quite some time. You could see that he's on the rise and that he's going to be a champion sooner rather than later. And obviously sooner because he has the money in the bank now.
Well, that's the thank you for not fucking up Bad Bunny's life. No.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But oh,
I will guarantee you, I know when he'll cash it in.
Yeah, yeah.
Look
yeah.
for the next event that's scheduled in Puerto Rico.
And then
When is it?
honestly the Money in the Bank winners, the theme was telling, but we'll get to that later.
Right, because yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. But it was kind of like you usually say for the Royal Rumble, there's a theme to who won what matches.
Yep.
But I mean, honestly, I was happy that Priest won. The guy definitely deserves it. I mean, if you could have a 20-minute match with Bad Bunny and get it over, good on you, man. Seriously.
I mean, he made Bad Bunny look like Jesus for one night. Granted, the crowd had a lot to do with that, but he made him look like Jesus.
Yeah, I'd like to see them do the other one in God, what's one of the most racist towns in America? Chicago. No,
Mobile, Alabama.
in an actual, you know, Mobile Park.
That's
A mobile home
interesting
line.
match concept. The Trailer Park
Tuscaloosa.
match.
His tusks will be loose after that. Yeah. Like, okay, they're going with the state, you know, the faction generals, you know, are you know, winning, and it's gonna be to the point where eventually Finn is gonna try and talk Damien into letting him have it.
I was thinking he's gonna cost him the
Yeah.
if he doesn't.
Considering that Priest has already technically cost Balor the title, This is really evoking Randy Orton Triple H to me, quite honestly.
I'm not on the lines of it's Batista and Triple H because there was
Mm.
never really any animosity between Orton and Triple H when
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and technically, there's technically not animosity now between Priest and Balor. It's just after one show.
oh no, I
Keep
mean
keep keep,
it's
keep
the
in mind.
beginning.
Keep in mind when Orton did this thing in 2004. Nobody actually expected him to do what Triple H could not.
I mean
So it's God. I and this is where I think I don't know if Priest was the right person to put this on now.
if Priest wins the title and then we have a Priest versus Finn Balor rivalry, and that's essentially what breaks up the group, then I'm okay with that. And if Priest goes for to cash it in and then Balor costs him the cash in, and we still get Priest versus Balor, I'm there for it, honestly. I'm interested.
Here's the thing though. A a failed cash in is really detrimental when you think about it. And the fact that Priest is representative of a very large community means
It's boom or
you
bust.
yeah, yeah, like there will be wrestling fans that will absolutely hate the fact that he won, and then there will be the entire Hispanic community that will be pissed if he doesn't.
Well, I'm assuming that they're working on turning him face. And
But again, it's the matter of cat cashing in on Seth.
your choice.
Okay,
Cashing in on Cody.
I
Your choice.
mean, I think I really think the idea here is trying to have Priest do what Rollins did, but better, if possible. And the only way I could see that is if the the if it happens at WrestleMania and the title match ends prior to the cash in.
Um,
There's a lot. There's a lot to develop between now and when he actually cashes it in. It just needs to be more of a focus. And let's not forget that they've now added we're gonna save our asses rule, uh, where if for some stupid fucking reason you want to use this to lower yourself and go for a mid card title,
yeah.
you could do the Austin Theory clause.
Yep. I think either way, whether he makes it to win the title or he doesn't, he's going to be. It's going to propel him into a new category of superstar. Either way. Unless they fuck it up, which is wouldn't be out of the question. That being said, how many stars do you give this one, Kaliko?
Uh, the crowd gives it a bonus. So every match, I'm gonna say the crowd gets a point bonus. So it would be a 3 regularly, but because of the crowd, it's a 4.
Still,
I'll give it 4.
I'll give it 3.5. Just to say, yeah, the crowd made it what it was, but it wasn't a super memorable Money in the Bank match. And Logan Paul and Ricochet like really fucked up that spot. So I had to deduct points for that. But
Okay, Russian judge.
next match, Liv Morgan, Raquel Gonzalez defeated Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler to capture the tag team, the women's tag team championships in 9 minutes flat. Honestly, not a bad match, and it didn't go too long, not longer than it needed to be, and at the end of the day, it definitely caught me off guard when Baseball attacked Shane. When Baseball attacked Ronda Rousey. So definitely kudos to them on that. Kaliko, your thoughts on the match?
I mean, it was a okay match. I just didn't get why they did the swerve like that. Because it was just it was literally out the blue.
Because Ronda
And I
is
get and I get why they did it, but they should
Ronda's
have been as WWE. They should have saw if they saw this shit coming. They should have did a better job of preparing that.
Ronda's on Mars. That's why.
yeah. But I was going to say the same thing. Ronda is leaving sooner rather than later, so she wanted um on her way out to put Sheena over. That's what they said anyway.
It's only funny that she wants to come back to the UFC after that dyke bitch that knocked her out retired. But that's a whole nother topic.
Katie Holmes. Was it Katie Holmes? What the fuck was the
What?
title?
From Dawson's Creek? Knocked her out?
Amanda
The
Nunes. No,
Nunez.
Nunez. No, the one with
Holly Holm was the first. Holly Holm was the first one to knock
Holly
her out.
Holly
Holm.
Holmes. There you go.
Holly Holm.
But
I was
Amanda
just saying.
Nunes was the one that knocked her out for good. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure there's Maisha Tate knockout in there somewhere too.
Oh nah. She whooped Misha's ass. In fact, Misha wouldn't tap when Orlando had the arm bar because she said, "I would rather you break my arm than to tap to you." And Ronda broke the arm. That's how petty that was. But that's a whole like yeah, I could go back and forth with MMA. But yes, it's interesting that they need a female star after Nunes has recently retired from the UFC and she vacated both belts. So they're kinda in need of a female star. And the rumor was Rousey was coming back.
Scooter, your thoughts on the match?
Uh, again, Shayna turning on Ronda was pleasant. Shayna, told us said what we all were thinking. Yeah, I mean,
She essentially turned face by turning on Ronda Rousey. No.
and I mean, with a face like Shayna Baszler's, man, oof.
Alright, Scooter, how many stars you give this one?
Um, I'm gonna give it 3 for that unexpected ending.
Felico?
3 because of the crowd and the unexpected turn.
I'm I'm agreeing with you guys. 3 stars. Alright, match 3. WWE Intercontinental Championship match. Gunther retained against Matt Riddle by submission. This was basically just we need Gunther on the card, and he needs somebody to slap. No, Kalika?
That's what it felt like. I mean, it was just like sacrificial lamb, Matt Riddle, welcome back. Your first match, Gunther beating the shit out of you.
I mean, the matches before the Gunther match.
Yeah, but it just seemed so one sided this match. Like it really felt one sided.
Would you attribute that to the home field advantage by Gunther?
I mean, you could partially say that. You could partially say that Riddle just came back, so it's kind of like figuring out that mojo. You could, I mean, there's a lot of different variation factors that could go into it. But it was without question Gunther was going to dominate. The question was whether Riddle was going to put up a fight, kind of like how Natalya got done in at Crown Jewel.
If he got smashed or not.
Pretty much smash stacked pin.
Oh, you're not wrong about that. And I would say he was essentially the sacrificial lamb in this match. Um, but does it feel like Gunther doesn't have a finishing move? It's just whatever he hits you with, that's his finishing move.
Um, no. Well, you can make that argument because he's more known for the chops than he is for his finisher, which is really a powerbomb.
I mean, sometimes he wins with a Dominator. So I mean,
Yeah, so he's trying to figure that out, but he doesn't need to figure that out because everything in the match is what captivates you. Although you do need to know when that bitch is over. But I feel like when he chops you, it's over.
so at the beginning of the match, essentially.
Pretty much. When he slaps the shit out of you, it's pretty much a done deal.
Alright, is Scooter there? Yep, we lost Scooter for
He
the
went up to yonder because that's how strong fucking Gunther slaps is.
Yes, Gunther
Like someone
slaps
slaps
and
it and another person goes up to yonder.
how many stars do you give this one?
A three because of the crowd. The crowd gives it that 1 point bonus that puts it right above the threshold.
I agree. Alright, Cody Rhodes defeated Dominic Mysterio in 8 minutes and 40 seconds. And yeah, it's Cody Rhodes versus Dominic Mysterio. I mean, nobody was exactly expecting an 8-star match in the Tokyo Dome.
It was.
People, this is, I think this is exactly what it needed to be. It got Cody over, it got Dominic over. It was just good shit. Kaliko?
I mean, the crowd still ate it up. So, I mean, that's how you know that's how you know how much of an impact the crowd has because that match really for if it was in the states it would have been a bathroom break, but due to the fact that it was in London, they treated it like it was the greatest thing on earth.
I don't know if this was a bathroom break match. I mean, Cody Rhodes and is over like Rover, and Dominic is the opposite, the negative of over like Rover because people hate him so much. So I did expect people wanted to see this match. I definitely wanted to see it.
Well, what I'm saying is that the context is in the story building wasn't there. It kind of felt like it was just put together just to have the match, just to say that it happened,
Mm.
and that gives a better kudos for the crowd because most people when they see stuff like that, especially here in the States, their first reaction is, Cody deserves better, rather than looking at it as Cody building himself up to be the contender. Does that make sense?
And building Dominic as well. It gave Cody something to do, and it built Dominic's profile.
Pretty
Scooter.
much. Honestly, Dominic got a lot of work. He's been getting a lot of work. Low key.
Oh yeah. Scooter, you came back from getting slapped by Gunther. What was your thoughts on Cody versus?
Uh, uh, like you said, this match was, all it needed to be a little bit of a distraction. Um, it shows that Dominic is still, well, put it this way. I put out a tweet about it, and I will read it as so. Dominic, sure, your actions can be summed up like this. Coño sin espinas. Ria tiene pelotas más grandes que tú. Pateada el tercero, Cody Rhodes. Translation, you spineless pussy. Rhea has bigger balls than you. Kick his ass, Cody.
And that's essentially what happened.
I mean, hey, that's what happens when you don't use an ex-condom.
I mean, I like Death Row Dom. I like Death Row Dom better though. So.
My name
No,
is Dirty Dom. I don't like Dirty Dom. It sounds like he doesn't wash his ass.
no, Rhea does that for him.
Oh.
You sure about that? Because I'm
Mommy,
pretty sure he drops the soap and.
Mommy, come and wipe me. All right, Dom, I'm coming.
I could definitely see that happening.
Oh, Dom, I don't remember eating any corn.
Kaliko, how many stars do you give this match?
A 3 because of the crowd.
Scooter?
I will give it 3 porcelain thrones. I will. I give it 2.99. No, I'll give it 3.
And the match between Gunther and Riddle, how many stars do you give that one?
It was a match between Gunther and Riddle.
See?
Oh God. We all knew it was bull anyway. I mean, at least it wasn't, put together, spot fest. So I'll give that 3. I would also like to note that I love that Riddle is now branching out, promoting his invisible footwear, as we saw on Valhalla in her six-person tag match against the Alpha Academy last week, wearing those invisible boots, which is really fucking stupid because men are allowed to go barefoot. Women, that used to be a big no-no.
Really?
Yeah. Women were taught to protect all parts of their body. Hell, some would say it's still a bit taboo, and some would say it's even reckless. I mean, one wrong move and then. I mean,
dive from a stub toe.
you could do more damage without the boot. Think Sid from Sin, but 10 times worse. You actually see the blood pooling.
Oh God. I give this match 3.5 stars. I really do. I don't remember if this happened before or after the next match, so we're just gonna talk about it now. John Cena came out, and the crowd was happy to see him.
You know, it's funny because as soon as I saw him, the first thing I said to Ryan was, "Watch WrestleMania London."
Well, I mean, it's a possibility. Nothing's out of the question nowadays. But do you see, casual WWE fans going overseas for WrestleMania? I mean, when it was in Canada, you only have one border to deal with, and but I mean, UK that's definitely a longer journey in my opinion.
I think they could sell it because the world is smaller now, and people. You know what? I've had friends who flew over to all three of them motherfuckers, so that is not out the question.
Ooh.
So the question is possible. It's probably about as close as possible as it's ever been.
I mean, the question is this the WWE saying, "Fuck you, Tony. We're not letting you get away with this shit."
I mean, it's a good possibility.
Sounds like the likely possibility.
How would you rate this segment? Because it just felt like it went on like for fucking ever.
It
It's the usual WWE WrestleMania announcement. You've been to one in LA, James. It's the usual shit.
I mean,
the
but
I
it wasn't a
mean
paid preview. It was just but a watch
M-
the
party.
But it's
the
to get them to even consider it. See, that's the point.
the question is, why Grayson Waller?
Because he was available.
I mean, we're not fucking getting WrestleMania in Australia. Nobody in the US is getting up at 4 a.m. to watch it.
I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibilities. And, people get up for the New
World Cup.
Japan, the G1, and all and WrestleMania.
More people get up for the World Cup when it's at 5 a.m. in the morning.
What the fuck is the World Cup? Is that didn't they do that a couple of years ago at Saudi Arabia
Yeah,
though?
you know the sport that you all suck at, but the women are really great at. No, not birthing babies. Come on, I mean pickleball.
Pickleball. Oh, alright. I didn't think pickles came in ball shape, but alright, I'll believe you.
I mean, they already look like dicks. You gotta think the balls went somewhere.
I don't know talking about? I only watch pro wrestling.
Soccer!
I do not soccer. I love and respect them.
Well, I mean, you better get consent.
I don't soccer.
Oh,
I've never touched her.
Kaliko, how many stars do you give John Cena's rant?
Well, my kid was excited as shit when that happened, so a three, because that crowd was hot as shit for Cena.
Scooter,
I will give it three and a half, only because it allowed me to go take a dump in peace.
sure, 3. Alright, that brings us to the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Io Sky defeated Bailey.
EO.
Now he knows.
Oh,
He knows.
Io Sky. And on that
Yes,
bundle was a
his,
Dakota Kai.
that's his
Io
gimmick
Sky.
now.
She beat Bailey, Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus, Zelina Vega, and Zoe Starks in 18 minutes and 5 seconds. Um, Not the most memorable match like the men's, but the ending was super memorable. Just having Becky Lynch and Bailey handcuffed together and having to watch Io celebrate her win. Kaliko, your thoughts on the match?
That was probably a brilliant use of. Honestly, this was a better match, Money in the Bank match than the men's from a storytelling perspective. Because everybody in that match had a reason to go after one another,
You're not wrong.
and 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 that was, I think, the best remedy for the women's Money in the Bank, because for some odd reason they used to go with this hodgepodge, and then they would just pray that it would work, and then it don't work. But in this instance, they actually put thought into who was going to be in the match, and it actually worked out. The ending was great. The theme fit in with the women's Money in the Bank, same as the men's, and I call it the beginning of the end, because it's the beginning of the end of these factions. That's the damn sure. The, the beginning of the end of these goddamn factions. And Bailey has a history of turning and kicking people out when they get more shy. So that's not out of the realm. But overall, it was a great match. The person that seemed least likely to win won, and the crowd was happy for it. So I guess they listened to the crowd when she was facing Bianca. Thank God.
And Scooter.
It's funny that all of our second choices were winners.
Yeah, we both picked Io as our second choice.
Um, yeah, we knew Trish wasn't gonna win it. We knew Becky didn't need it.
The only other one that made plausible sense was Zelina.
Yeah, and that's what And
But
honestly,
why do you need a suitcase when you have a flipper flop, right?
Chancla.
God bless you.
Um, the thing is that I could see Zelina winning the same way.
I mean, wasn't
But
she the one that broke Chris's nose?
um, mm, I think they're attributing that to Becky.
I mean, they could attribute to whatever they want, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure it was Zelina throwing her face into a ladder.
Yeah, well, they wanted a reason to give Trish that that dashing Trish Stratus mask back.
Yeah.
Um, I could see Zelina winning it the same exact way as Io. In fact, they kind of did that finish 2 years ago when Nikki won. Except they did it with everybody on the ladder.
Yeah, but they wasn't handcuffed to each other.
Yeah, well, it's the same. It's the same concept.
Everybody's busy with each other, and the person that sneaks in.
Yeah, climbing over on top of somebody to
Mm-hmm.
get it's like one of the few endings we haven't seen is somebody who doesn't need a ladder to grab it.
Actually, that was Carmella when
No,
Ellsworth grabbed the ladder, grabbed the briefcase, and gave it to her.
no, that's not what I mean, and I don't mean it falling into Otis's hands. Even though that was a an ending, I was in the on the list of endings I would like to see.
That was a good ass ending.
I don't know if you remember. God, what was it? What was it? A WWE Spring Stampede. It was Roddy Piper, the Giant. I forget who they were facing, but it was like it was a bat. There's a bat in the center of the ring, and Piper gets on Giant Big Show's shoulders and gets it.
Yeah.
Or just have Ricochet do some flippy shit. I mean, think about this for a second. In all the video games since Money in the Bank has become a thing, you know how often people just hang on to that fucking case and fall down?
Oh yeah.
The Wile E. Coyote camera. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, why can't somebody, do a drive-by grabbing? Like, pew!
I mean,
Match over.
Like when John Cena won, and he bashed Big Show's head in with it, and it just came out on it. The handle broke, and it was in his hand, so he won. The handle could break, and you could just grab it.
See, also, the one thing I had a huge problem with at the scrum was that there were no contracts in those briefcases.
Well,
Just
yeah,
T-shirt.
The contract is the briefcase.
No, it is not. No, there is an actual contract. That storyline wise, there is an actual contract in there. In fact, it's a storyline in 2K23 where the briefcase is handed in, and when it fails, and when they end up not winning, they reveal, oh, it's not in there. Here's the contract. Now we're cashing in. Boom. New match over. Like, does that mean they have? Does that mean like they have to take their shirt off if they want it now?
I have no idea. Still, how many stars do you give this one? EO winning the briefcase.
I give it 4 full moons.
Kaliko.
Yeah, it's a solid 4.
I mean, the right person won, and it progressed the storyline. So yeah, I'm giving this 4 as well. Alright, next match, we got Seth freaking Rollins defeating Finn Balor, to retain the World Heavyweight Championship in 12 minutes 30 seconds. In all honesty, this was a miss for me. I didn't like the placement of it. Seth has had better matches in the past, and I don't know, nothing hit for me for this one personally. Kaliko, your thoughts?
The best thing was that the crowd sang Seth Rollins' entrance for literally like 15 minutes before the match even started. Which, once again, I don't know, that crowds, for people who think that they don't matter, they matter. So don't just show up and ditch your phones all out. But overall, the right person won. The animosity came into play where the possible cash in this was could happen the same night, and that would have been interesting if Finn had won. Which is what I was kind of thinking. I was like, oh shit, if Finn wins. So yeah, that's suspense.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, James. It felt out of place. I really, I honestly, I think you could have switched this and the men's Money in the Bank match.
I was thinking the same thing.
Um, I mean, because usually when the Money in the Bank match is first, that's usually indicative of a cash in that night.
Well, they did
And
tease it.
they teased it, but it was a pointless tease
Yeah, it was.
since we knew Balor wasn't winning it anyway. But we also knew that Balor wasn't gonna ensure that Priest won it either. So the only way, that cashing my word would probably be the only time it would have worked as a fail. But then you end up breaking up the Judgment Day prematurely. Oh, by the way, let's not forget let's congratulate the newest member of the Judgment Day, Bailey.
This is correct. Yeah.
Being announced as representing the Judgment Day. Judgment Control! Damage Day. Ooh, new paper.
What the fuck moment?
Damage Day does sound good, though. Damage Day.
Don't put it in damage control. Alright,
It could have been worse. It could have been, like bladder control.
um,
Writing that down. A bunch of incontinent wrestlers.
I think that's just the AEW roster.
It's the golden showers.
Kaliko, how many stars did you give this one?
Story wise, 3.5. I give it 3.5.
Screw.
I'm gonna give it a flat 3.
I'll give it 3 stars. Yeah. Alright, and that brings us to the last match, the main event, the match everybody wanted to see. The Bloodline
Darby
Segment.
Allin.
Kane and Jey Uso defeated Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa in 32 minutes and 10 seconds. This was everything that it needed to be and more. If I had one complaint about it, I would probably say it was just a tad too long. Um, but it got the job done, and it's what we wanted to see, and that was Roman finally getting pinned. Um, Kaliko, your thoughts on the match?
Whew, okay, where do I start? The match you said it went too long. I think it was perfect because it played. If you were following this story, they were dropping everything that happened in this story in that match. And that is why it took so long. But it was perfect in the way that it was done. It was perfect in the way it was executed. Um, Jay Uso, Wrestler of the Year, I would say, and not just because he pinned Roman. I think it's because every decision in this storyline had to deal with him. He's literally the most important character in the most important storyline.
He's
Um,
actually the main character in this story.
that's my point. So it started with him. It should have ended with him. Um, Everybody knows about me and the Usos. I love about some Usos. I spent the whole weekend just jumping on that theme song all weekend. It was a great shocker that Roman lost, and everyone kept trying to. And this was the perfect match to show why you do things in a slow, methodical way. Because every time they were kicking out, you just saw Roman's face and expression getting weaker and weaker and weaker to the point where his arrogance, he was questioning his own confidence. At one point in the match, Solo had to wake him up, which shows you it's all about the psychology. Everyone sees Romans falling except the king. Everyone knows the king is falling except the king. He's the last one to know. And he acted perfect in accordance with it. And that's how it's supposed to be done.
Scudo.
Yeah, this was 3 years of history told in one match. You know, running back from all the spots they did in the Thunderdome to you know stack them and pin them.
The low blow.
The low blow. Um, Also, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm exactly thrilled with how SmackDown went, but this was absolutely the right way to go. And yes, this now has to end with Roman and Jay. It's gotta end with Jimmy trying and coming up short. It's and it also has to. I think they're playing the long game, the even longer game, I should say, with Solo. There's no reason Solo should be siding with Roman. There's no logical reason.
And he's
I
the
mean,
tribal chief, and he's now
uh,
in
uh,
Jay's position.
okay, but are you going to tell me that if Solo decided to say, I'm sticking with my brothers, you think that Roman would be able to kick his ass? No. This is the long game with Solo. And and as much as the build that we might have gotten a bit, you know, less tolerant with Roman, with Solo, it makes sense. This whole thing has been about Roman being the master manipulator. But how do you really stop him? And it's not just taking away his title. You have to take everything away from him. You have to full on, bum ass Corbin him. He can't have anywhere to turn to at the end of this.
Exactly.
And Solo is gonna be standing with his brothers and with Rikishi. I will be honest. I don't even think they need The Rock at this point.
They don't.
They don't. I can make the
I,
argument they
I,
never needed The Rock to begin with.
I think if they do try going that way, it's gonna fuck everything up.
Yeah.
Now, I can see Rock showing up after and congratulating his family,
Lil Uce.
and then then I think you could probably do a Rock Roman build without any worry.
Without any titles.
Exactly. With that being said, I'm gonna make a really, really bold prediction right now, and that's Jey Uso wins the 2024 Royal Rumble.
I'm not gonna wait that long. I'm gonna say
Yeah, I was gonna say you go with a SummerSlam.
that's what I was gonna say.
No, it's.
But I get why he would win the Royal Rumble. But the only fear that I have of him winning at the Royal Rumble is the fact that the momentum is now,
Right.
and the King is at his weakest now. And if he can't do it now, when will he ever do it? Is the question.
If you on SmackDown last night, they pummeled the shit out of Jay. Jay was taken out of the arena in an ambulance.
That's fine.
So they're they're playing the long game here.
I mean, we still have what? How long is SummerSlam is what, a month away?
4 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 weeks.
3 weeks from Saturday, tomorrow, tonight, yesterday, last week, next week.
So I mean, I personally feel like if you have Jay Russell Roman at SummerSlam, essentially where all of this started, it started with Roman coming back at SummerSlam, smashing Braun Strowman and the Fiend, and then have Jay beat him at SummerSlam. Jay doesn't have to hold the belt forever.
Hmm.
He could lose the belt. He could drop it back to Roman, and you can continue the rivalry, or
Wait.
you could have Jay run with the title, see what he's capable of, and you could have Rock versus Roman somewhere in there on. Keep the rivalry strong.
That the smart thing to do. Roman and Jay at SummerSlam, non-title.
Oh,
you do.
That's
hold on.
And Yokozuna.
No, hold on. No, it's non-title. No, not the title on the line and he wins by countout. No. Think Hogan Piper, Starrcade. At a time where nobody thought Hogan was ever gonna lose. A one-on-one match That's the next stage of this. Roman has to lose a one-on-one match. That's the next domino in this.
But to be quite honest, you could still do the title and not have Jay win. Because remember when they had the first title match a year ago, you and I was on tape with this. I was like, that match is more than just the title. It's about a ass whooping. It's about setting a tone. When Roman faced Jay the first time, yes, Roman won, but that was secondary to Roman setting the goddamn tone as the man. So you could
See,
still have that, have Jay win without winning the title, and having that tone set.
but if it's a title match, Roman has that fuel saying, "Oh, you had your chance. You don't get another one." This is
Not if
why. Wait a minute. Hold on. Jay will want a title match. Jay will want a title match. Roman won't give it to him. Roman will give him a match, but it won't be for the title. If that's the ultimate heel move. That's the ultimate heel thing of someone who is on the cusp of having his entire dynasty collapse. He needs to lose once to Jay before he drops it.
I don't.
that I agree with. He does need to lose before, because him losing in a tag is a lot different than him losing 1-on-1.
Yeah. Well, I mean, by the way, considering that it's the 30-year anniversary of Lex Luger and Yokozuna in Detroit at SummerSlam.
But I mean,
Oh God, no.
it just. I think me and Clicker watch New Japan, and if you pin the champion in a tag team match, you get a championship match instantly. You get that opportunity. So, and he pinned Roman Reigns in a tag team match. He's the first person to pin Roman Reigns in 4 years. That
Okay.
that essentially that gives him the right to challenge for that championship.
Okay, yeah, it does. It doesn't mean Roman has to accept it.
I mean, it
That is true.
doesn't, but it does. If this match at SummerSlam between Jay and Roman is a non-title match, doesn't it lessen the match just a little bit?
No, because the
No.
match is not about the match. Just like the first time they fought 1-on-1, and it wasn't about the title. This match at SummerSlam is not about the title. And in your forefront, you're thinking it's the title,
Right.
but but in essence, this is about setting a family balance because all of this is rooted in family,
But
and that I think is why this story matters so much. It's pretty much like fucking what's that fucking Succession. This is literally Succession playing out in wrestling. I swear to God.
and yeah,
We're,
you're right. It isn't about the championship. It's about the family dynamic. But what set all of this off? What is the thing that has Reigns this way? How did all this start? By winning the championship.
hmm.
Take
It
away
started it
you
it
take away the
started
championship.
It started with Roman exerting his dominance over Jay with Paul Heyman.
exactly.
not with
Paul
him winning the
Heyman.
championship.
Exactly,
Yeah,
because remember, Roman was always like, "Oh, you want a title shot? I'll give you the title shot." It was not about the championship to me. It's about the family.
but
Yeah.
why did he exert his dominance? To prove that he was a dominant champion. What's
But to
the
No.
also
sympathy?
show, no, it
No.
was to prove he was the man of the family.
The dominant
That
Samoan.
the dominant man in the family. The family approved heir. That was the point. The point was never the title was secondary to him
It's a
saying, "I'm the
prop.
fucking man of this family. You better get in line."
It is a prop in this case. You need to get to the heart of this story. You have to strike at it. You have to make Roman look the most vulnerable he's ever been. And as much as I might hate saying it's got to take time, this has to take its time too. It has to cook. It has to simmer. It. I think Roman and Jay in a title match where Jay conquers Roman it's too soon of a payoff, and it's gonna it'll inspire less confidence in Jay, you know, with Triple H and Vince and everybody. This is this is a really slow burn. We are finally starting to see what the picture is after it's all burning away. You have to you gotta let it you where this is it. We have to go with it as it is. We can't rush it at all. Every single bit from this point forward is going to be important.
So you're saying that this
So,
is more in the long game, and then we have the caption 5 years later.
but the one thing I agree with what Scooter's saying is that the same way this wasn't built in a day, it doesn't end in a month, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
put
Like
put it this way.
like Alexander the Great became great, but the downfall was not super fast, right? It was a slow, methodical decline because, like I told you, Roman is right now in his wake up call. He just found out he got pinned. He's beatable. So now he's like, I got to get back on my bullshit, get back on my horse, and do what the hell I need to do. So that's not gonna all of a sudden come crashing down, in a month, because he's gonna get back on his game,
Yes.
and you would expect him to.
cool.
Now, SmackDown last night. Jay gets assaulted. He gets taken out in an ambulance. He comes back at the end of the show, and he's pissed. He manages to take out Solo, and he manages to get the better of Roman. And what does he say? Even though Jay is holding up the title, Jay says, "Yeah, you took Jimmy from me. You took my brothers from me." Jay tells Reigns he is now the judge, jury, and executioner. Jay says Reigns is gonna get got. This isn't. This is tribal combat now. Jay doesn't give a damn about no brothers or wise men. It's just him and Reigns, one on one. Jay says Reigns better accept his challenge so he can whip Reigns' ass one-on-one. This,
Yeah, it's
it,
about principle. This
it's
is principle.
yeah, it's going to be a fight. The title is a prop here. And that's the thing Roman is going to use to say, okay, all right, maybe you did get the better of me, but you know what? I still have this.
Oh, I
And
don't think he's
now,
gonna say that. I don't think he's even gonna mention the title.
well, I mean, he's going to say this, and then Roman, it's going to be some creative bullshit from Paul Heyman saying, well, you should have thought to make it a title match. But you
Ooh.
didn't. This is going to be some of the best storytelling involving these two. They just have to pick up on all the stuff that they're laying down organically and build on that foundation. That's what worries me. Is that they can't exactly pick up on the natural progression of how this should go. Because I am afraid that it will lead to an attempt at an immediate payoff. And I think it's too quick of a solution, especially since Jay is finally his own man.
Let me
It
And
ask
that
you this.
and that was the whole point of the story.
Yeah,
The
and that's
whole
what
point
it's
of the story is Jay being his own individual.
yeah. It is storytelling 101. It is the hero's journey.
Let me ask you this. Triple H is in charge of WWE right now. But at least in kind of creative. Uh, to a certain degree, obviously the International has discussed it. And with WWE's, future uncertain, and if Triple H doesn't even know if he's going to be the head of creative in, what, 6 months, do you pull the trigger on on finishing the story a little bit more quicker than you had liked, just to make sure that it goes the way that you wanted it to?
I don't think Reigns would allow it.
I think
and
I think
and I
Roman
think
will.
that's why he wants, and I think that's why the rumor is that the contract that he's looking for with Vince when he gets his new contract is to be able to determine his own fate as far as creative, which is something Vince is very apt to do.
Uh, Roman, I think Roman finally realizes the true impact that this is having on not just the WWE but pro wrestling in general. It's 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 the biggest underdog story in the history of pro wrestling in recent years. Absolutely, without a doubt. Jey Uso, an identical twin who was brushed off as nothing more than an impressive tag team wrestler. You know, it's it's Jay's time, and now it's a matter of Jay and Roman sharing time. It's a
Oh,
scale.
you better than me because I thought that. To me, I think the story was more not about Jay as a wrestler. I look at it from a relatable family dynamic in the sense that everyone has been a member of a family where you feel like you're not getting your due and you got to knock the shit out of somebody in the family to show them that you truly mean business.
You know, it's like this is what I imagine. How difficult Kofi Kingston's road to WrestleMania was made, and how the fate of a WrestleMania title match was taken out of his hands. It wasn't up to him. And you remember the Usos forfeited that. But I see something on a much bigger scale. And I can't believe I'm saying this, a full on roster revolution. The entire SmackDown roster, and hell, most of the Raw roster, has been at the mercy of Roman Reigns. What do you do when you want to take the king out of power?
Revolution.
You revolt, you take the king, and you cut his fucking head off. And Jay, this is interesting. Oh God, this is popped in my head. Jay is a modern day hero of the people.
Oh, we
We
definitely
could we, we could talk about this until the cows come home.
That's what I was. That's what I was gonna say. That that being said, how many stars do you give this next school?
I am gonna give it 5.
Kaliko?
Shit, it'd probably be 5 plus because the crowd was eating it up. And if like I said, 5, because if you got the nuggets, you knew what it was about. 5.
I give it 5 as well. The whole so Scooter thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle.
Thumbs up.
Kaliko?
Uh, and not that Cardi B song. If it's up, if it's up.
Yeah, thumbs up. Alright, that will conclude our coverage of WWE Money in the Bank. Thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment. Go on YouTube and Castbox. Of course, this is sponsored by World Energy and Fairmont Coffee. Join us this Tuesday as we interview D Vibe. This Wednesday as we interview Sid Wynn. Uh, Follow the show at Wrestling with E, or on Twitter and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at TMC993. Both can be found Kaliko.
I am Kaliko, and I'm back.
And where can we find Scooter?
As
Blackman.
always, you can find me trying to stick a pin in the neck of my ex-wife and get a pizza delivered to her. Find me on Twitter at ScooterDust. Keep an eye to the social medias for the upcoming news about the remix. We should be back up and running for SummerSlam. And of course, revel in all my Dungeons and Dragons shenanigans, along with Rico Constantino Jr. and the rest of the Smoking Dragons clan. Twitch.tv/Smoking Dragons, and hopefully I don't melt into a giant pool of ball soup.
I'm sure you'll bounce back from it.
Uh, with the heat,
I mean, how many times have you spontaneously combusted on the show? I mean, being melted, that's fucking nothing to
I
you.
mean, hell, I'm not even wearing underpants.
That's more than we needed to know.
Damn
Alright,
right.
for Kaliko Yachts and Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey, folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show. Support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.